Białowieża Forest, one of Europe's last and largest primeval forests, stands as a living testament to the deep, forgotten past. Stretching across the border between Poland and Belarus, this ancient woodland holds more than just towering trees and dense undergrowth. It whispers secrets that have lingered for centuries. Tales of a time long before modern civilization. Legends speak of an ancient curse cast upon the land, binding its very essence to spirits that wander the forest with an unearthly restlessness. It is said that the forest was born from a place where the earth itself shuddered as the first trees sprouted in a land plagued by darkness, where the shadows never left. The origins of Białowieża are murky, steeped in myths that defy explanation. Some believe it is the remnants of an ancient forest that once stretched across Europe, its roots dug deep into the soil of forgotten empires. Others claim that it was a sacred ground, chosen by the gods, a place where mortals were forbidden to tread. But no matter the story, one theme remains constant. The forest is alive with a presence, a force that has watched over the land for millennia, and one that does not easily forgive. In the quiet stillness of the woods, when the wind howls through the trees, you can almost hear the faintest of voices, beckoning to those who dare listen. Some say they are the voices of the first inhabitants, lost to time and tragedy, while others believe they are the remnants of cursed souls, bound to the forest, unable to escape. But the curse of Białowieża is not just one of the past. It is an ever-present force, a malevolent energy that surrounds the forest, seeping into the very air. Those who venture too deep into its heart speak of strange occurrences, phantom footsteps following their every move, shadows flickering just out of sight, and the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. No matter how many years pass, the forest has not relinquished its hold on the land, and its eerie grip only tightens with each passing day. It is in the ancient groves and tangled thickets that the true power of Białowieża reveals itself. The trees, some said to be over 1,000 years old, have borne witness to countless rituals, their twisted limbs forming a natural barrier between the human world and something far darker. The forest has seen kings and conquerors, monks and mystics, only to be lost in its labyrinthine depths, never to be seen again. Whether they sought the forest's mystical power or simply tried to survive its haunted expanse, many paid the ultimate price for their curiosity. To this day, the forest remains a place of pilgrimage for those who believe in the old ways, a realm where the veil between the living and the dead is thin, and the spirits of the past can still be heard. The whispers of Białowieża are not just the wind, they are the voices of the lost, the damned, and the cursed, warning all who come too close to turn back before it's too late. Białowieża Forest is not merely a stretch of ancient trees. It is a place where the veil between worlds is thin, where the whispers of ancient spirits stir in the wind, carrying tales from an age long forgotten. The forest's deep silence, broken only by the rustling of leaves, seems to hum with an otherworldly energy. There are those who believe that the spirits of the forest's original guardians, beings from the time when the earth was still young, still walk its shadowy paths. These spirits, bound to the land for eternity, are said to whisper in languages lost to time, their voices barely audible but unmistakably present. The deeper one ventures into the heart of the forest, the more the whispers grow. Soft at first, like a murmur on the wind, but growing louder, more insistent, as if the trees themselves are speaking to those brave or foolish enough to listen. Some say these are the spirits of ancient Slavic warriors, their souls entwined with the land after their untimely deaths, guarding the forest with an unyielding sense of duty. Others believe they are the restless souls of druids and shamans, the first protectors of Białowieża, who once performed sacred rituals beneath the ancient oaks. Their chants, once echoing through the trees, are now said to manifest as eerie whispers that drift through the forest on moonless nights, promising power to those who can decipher their meaning. But to those who venture too far into the forest, these whispers can become maddening. Their voices speaking in riddles that pull at the mind and soul, like an ancient spell designed to trap the unwary. The presence of these spirits is not just a fleeting feeling, but an undeniable force. Travelers and locals alike have reported feeling a chilling sensation in the air, a cold that settles on the skin as if the spirits themselves are drawing near. Some have even claimed to see fleeting glimpses of figures, shadowy forms flitting between the trees, always just out of reach. These spirits are not benign. They are ancient, powerful, and merciless to those who disrupt the natural balance of their domain. There are stories of people who wandered too far into the forest, lured by the promise of mystical knowledge, only to be lost forever, their cries heard by no one but the trees themselves. One chilling tale tells of a group of travelers who, eager to explore the depths of Białowieża, found themselves entranced by the whispers that seemed to call their names. The deeper they went, the more intense the voices became, louder, more insistent. One by one they began to fall behind, as if drawn away by unseen forces. By the time the last traveler realized that something was terribly wrong, it was too late. The forest had claimed them all. Their bodies were never found, but those who have wandered the woods since claim to hear the sounds of their footsteps echoing through the trees, as though the forest itself remembers their presence. The spirits of Białowieża are not limited to the past. Many believe that they still play a role in the forest today, watching over it with a quiet, vigilant gaze. Their whispers continue to call to those who are willing to listen, to those who dare seek out the mysteries of the ancient woods. But beware, the spirits of Białowieża do not welcome the curious. For those who seek to uncover its secrets, there is a price to pay, a price that often comes in the form of the spirit's lingering presence, a haunting reminder that the forest has been watching long before we ever dared to enter its depths. Białowieża Forest, a place where time seems to stand still, holds a secret darker than the deepest shadows cast by its towering trees. Beneath the forest's natural beauty lies a curse so ancient, so deeply entrenched in the earth itself, that it has become part of the very fabric of the land. It is a curse that is said to have been set in stone long ago, woven into the fates of those who dared to defy the sacred grounds of this haunted place. The legend of the cursed souls is one that has been passed down through generations, a chilling reminder of the wrath that the forest will exact upon those who disturb its balance. The curse, as the stories go, was born in a time when the forest was not merely a place of trees, but a sacred realm, governed by powerful spirits and ancient deities. A group of brave, or perhaps foolish, souls tempted to carve their place within the forest's sacred borders, seeking to harness its power for their own gain. They were not kings or warriors, but simple men driven by greed and ambition who believed they could outwit the forces that had long held sway over the land. They desecrated the forest's most sacred sites, cutting down ancient trees and attempting to plunder the hidden knowledge of the woods. The spirits, angered by their sacrilege, called upon a curse that would bind these trespassers to the forest for eternity, turning them into restless, wandering souls, forever trapped within the confines of Białowieża. As the legend tells it, the cursed souls were transformed into stone statues, their bodies frozen in time, their faces contorted in expressions of eternal terror. These statues, scattered throughout the forest, stand as silent witnesses to the price of their transgression. The stone figures are said to be the remnants of those who defiled the sacred land, their forms now bound to the earth by the curse they unleashed. Some say that if you approach these statues, you can feel a chill in the air, a cold that emanates from the very stones, as if the spirits trapped within them are still aware, still conscious, still suffering. The curse is so powerful that even the trees of Białowieża seem to shudder in their presence, as if the forest itself fears the souls bound to it. But the curse does not end with the stone figures. It is believed that those who wander too close to these cursed spots are not just at risk of encountering the spirits trapped within them, but also of becoming part of the curse themselves. There are chilling tales of people who have ventured into the forest, seeking adventure or peace, only to find themselves lost forever, their bodies never found, but their souls claimed by the ancient curse. These lost souls are said to join the cursed procession, becoming part of the forest's eternal army of restless spirits. The forest itself has been known to play tricks on those who seek to find the cursed statues, guiding them deeper into the heart of the woods, where the air grows thick and the light barely penetrates through the dense canopy. Some have reported hearing faint cries or whispers as they walk past certain trees, only to look back and find no one behind them, as if the spirits of the cursed souls are watching from the shadows. Those who have had the misfortune of coming too close to the stone figures speak of a suffocating sensation, a feeling that the very ground beneath their feet is alive, shifting, pulling them deeper into the forest's dark embrace. The legend of the cursed souls continues to haunt Białowieża to this day, and the curse is said to be a reminder, one that is always present, always watching. It serves as a warning to those who would dare to trespass on the sacred ground of the forest, a chilling reminder that some things are better left undisturbed. For in Białowieża, the curse is not just a legend. It is a living, breathing force, forever intertwined with the fate of those who enter its dark, haunted depths. Białowieża Forest, a place of ancient trees and eternal shadows, is not only haunted by restless spirits, but also by creatures that dwell far beyond the realm of human understanding. These beings, woven into the very fabric of the forest, move in silence, their eyes glowing with an unnatural hunger for the living. Unlike the familiar animals that roam the earth, these dark creatures are creatures of myth and nightmare, lurking just out of sight, stalking the unwary traveler. They are the forest's true guardians, unseen, unfelt, and yet undeniably present, waiting for the moment when the intruder will cross the line from the known into the unknown. Some say the creatures of Białowieża are remnants of an ancient, forgotten age, beings that predate humanity itself. They are neither fully animal nor fully spirit, but something in between, born from the dark energy that permeates the forest. These creatures take many forms, shapeless, ever-changing, and capable of slipping between the dimensions of reality and myth. Most commonly, they are seen as large, hulking shadows that move with the fluidity of smoke, their presence sensed before they are ever seen. The air grows cold when they are near, and the ground beneath one's feet seems to tremble as if the creature's weight is enough to shift the very earth they tread upon. One of the most feared of these creatures is the Białowieża wolf, though it is far from any ordinary wolf. This beast is said to be as large as a bear, with fur as dark as midnight and eyes that burn with an otherworldly red glow. Those who have encountered it claim that the wolf's gaze is enough to paralyze a person with fear, as if its eyes can look into the deepest parts of the soul, seeing every secret, every fear. It is said that the Białowieża wolf does not hunt for food, it hunts for something far darker. Souls to claim, wanderers to guide into the depths of the forest, never to return. Many have tried to follow its tracks, only to find that the wolf's footprints vanish as mysteriously as they appeared, leading them deeper into the heart of the forest, where the trees close in like the jaws of a trap. Then there are the forest phantoms, eerie figures that move with a supernatural grace, drifting through the trees without ever making a sound. These phantoms are often seen just at the edges of one's vision, pale, almost translucent shapes that vanish the moment they are fully seen. It is believed that these creatures are the spirits of animals long dead, animals that were once a part of the forest's ecosystem but were twisted by the dark energies of the land. They are not malevolent, but their presence is unsettling, as if they exist to remind the living of the price that nature demands for its balance. Travelers who claim to have encountered the phantoms describe a feeling of deep sorrow that seems to hang in the air, a sense of being watched by something ancient and sorrowful, yet powerful enough to turn the forest itself against them. The most terrifying of all, however, are the woodland wraiths, creatures that are rarely seen but whose presence is often felt in the eerie silence that falls over the forest. These wraiths are not of flesh and bone, but of shadow and mist, ethereal beings that slither through the underbrush, barely visible but always there. They are believed to be the remains of lost souls who wandered too deep into the forest, drawn by its dark allure. Now, they are bound to the trees, their very essence intertwined with the roots and leaves, forever feeding on the fear of those who venture too close. Those who have come into contact with the woodland wraiths speak of a feeling of suffocation, as if the forest itself is closing in, wrapping around them like a tightening noose. These dark creatures of Białowieża are not mere legends. They are the forest's unsung rulers, creatures of darkness that remain hidden in the deepest corners of the woods. Their power is ancient, their hunger insatiable, and their influence stretches far beyond what human eyes can comprehend. To step into the forest is to enter their realm, a place where the rules of nature and reality are twisted, where the shadows move and the creatures watch from the dark, waiting for their next prey. Białowieża is their home, and they are its eternal inhabitants, guarding it against all who would dare to challenge its dark and mysterious heart. The wind in Białowieża forest has a peculiar sound, a haunting cry that seems to come from deep within the earth itself. Those who have ventured far enough into its depths claim to have heard it, soft at first like the wind brushing through the trees, but growing louder, more desperate, until it becomes a wail, a mournful sound that chills the soul. This is the cry of the lost souls, the spirits who wander the forest in search of something they can never find: peace. The forest is not just a place of mystery and darkness, but a burial ground for those whose fates were sealed long before they could ever hope to leave. It is said that those who enter the forest, lost or misguided, may become a part of this eternal procession, their spirits bound to the land forever. The lost souls of Białowieża are not mere figments of imagination. They are the remnants of those who crossed the threshold into the forest and never returned. Some were travelers, others locals, but all were drawn by the forest's powerful allure, by the whispers that called to them from the shadows. The deeper they ventured into the woods, the further they became from the world they once knew. Some say that these souls are the remnants of those who sought the forest's ancient power and never left, lost in the labyrinth of trees, never to be seen again. Others believe that the souls were trapped by the forest's own dark magic, unable to escape the pull of the land. The cries of these souls can still be heard, echoing through the trees, a constant reminder of the forest's unforgiving nature. It is said that the spirits of the lost wander through the forest, aimlessly searching for a way out, forever lost in the thick mist that hangs over the ground. They are the ones who were tricked by the forest's illusions, who thought they saw a path leading out, only to find themselves deeper within the labyrinthine depths. The air grows thick with their sorrow, and the trees seem to bend in sympathy, their gnarled limbs reaching out as if to grasp the lost souls and pull them further into the dark heart of the forest. Those who have crossed paths with these wandering spirits describe a feeling of overwhelming sadness, an almost unbearable weight on their hearts, as if they are being drawn into a memory of something they can never return to. But it is not just the lost souls that haunt Białowieża. It is the crying spirits of those who were never meant to leave. There are stories of people who came to the forest with hopes of finding peace, seeking solace in its quiet beauty, only to be consumed by the darkness that lies beneath its surface. These spirits are not just lost. They are trapped, bound to the forest by a curse that was placed upon them long ago. Their cries, echoing through the trees, are not pleas for help, but expressions of anguish, of souls who have been caught in a web they cannot escape. The spirits of Białowieża are said to be both the forest's victims and its prisoners, eternally bound to a place that knows no mercy. The cry of these spirits is often described as an eerie, bone-chilling sound, one that seems to rise from the ground itself. It is a sound that lingers in the air, a low, mournful wail that is impossible to ignore. Those who have heard it claim that it reverberates through their bones, a sound that cannot be shaken, even when they have long since left the forest behind. Some believe that the spirits are trying to communicate with the living, to warn them of the dangers that lie ahead, while others think that the spirits are forever trapped in their torment, unable to break free from the forest's dark embrace. The cries of the spirits are not a thing of the past. They are very much present, echoing through the trees with every gust of wind, with every rustle of leaves. It is said that those who walk through the forest on the darkest nights will feel the weight of their sorrow, as if the very land is weeping for those who have been lost to its depth. Some claim that the spirits can be seen, pale, ghostly figures that glide between the trees, their faces twisted in eternal despair, soft-seeming, tremulous voices that glide between the trees, their faces twisted in eternal despair. These spirits are not at rest, not at peace, and they will not let anyone pass through the forest without feeling the weight of their anguish. The lost souls and crying spirits of Białowieża forest serve as a warning to those who would dare to enter. Their cries are a reminder that the forest is not a place to be trifled with, that its dark power has a price, and that there are some who may never escape its grasp. Those who hear the cries of the lost souls may find themselves drawn deeper into the forest, unable to resist the pull of the spirits that roam its ancient woods. For once you hear their cries, you may never leave, and your own soul may become another voice, crying out in the darkness, forever lost among the trees. Białowieża forest, with its towering trees and shadowed groves, is a place where the echoes of ancient rites still linger, haunting the very earth beneath your feet. The forest, older than civilization itself, has long been a site of mystery, drawing those with a thirst for knowledge, power, or forbidden secrets. The land is said to be soaked with the blood of those who sought to unlock the forest's arcane mysteries, practicing rites that should never have been known to mortal men. These rituals, passed down through the ages, were not mere offerings to nature, they were acts of dark magic, binding the very essence of the forest to the will of those who dared to wield its power. It is said that the ancient Slavic tribes who once roamed these lands performed their most sacred and dangerous rituals beneath the towering oaks and thick canopy of Białowieża. The forest, they believed, was a place where the boundary between the living and the dead was thin, where spirits roamed freely and ancient gods could be called upon. It was here, in the heart of the forest, that the first rites were conducted. Rites that were meant to commune with these spirits, to summon the gods for power, prosperity, and protection. But these rites came at a cost, one that the practitioners were never truly prepared to pay. The most forbidden of these rituals was said to be the rite of the eternal shadow, a dark ceremony that was designed to bind the spirit of a person to the forest itself, to create an eternal link between the living and the dead. The ritual involved a blood sacrifice, and it was believed that the spirit of the sacrificed soul would become a part of the forest, trapped in the ancient trees, never to leave. Those who performed this ritual believed they could call upon the spirits bound to the land, using them for power. But it was a reckless gamble, for the spirits had a will of their own, and once bound, they would never be controlled. The echoes of these ancient rites still linger in the forest, whispering through the trees on the wind, faint murmurs of long-forgotten prayers. It is said that at night, when the moon is hidden behind the clouds, you can hear the chanting of ancient voices, low and guttural, rising from the depths of the woods. Those who have wandered too deep into the forest have claimed to witness strange lights flickering in the distance, moving with a rhythm that can only be described as ritualistic, as if the spirits are performing their own dark rites, calling upon the forces that bind them to the forest. Some say these lights are the souls of those who performed the rituals, their energy still lingering in the air, waiting for someone to disturb the balance once more. There are also rumors of a hidden grove deep within Białowieża, a place so sacred that only a few dare to speak of it. It is said that this grove is the site of the most ancient and forbidden ritual of all, a rite that can summon the dark gods who once ruled the land. The ritual requires not only blood but the soul of a willing participant. Someone who seeks to unlock the deepest mysteries of the forest, someone who is willing to offer everything in exchange for knowledge, power, or immortality. The grove is said to be guarded by creatures darker than any mortal can comprehend, beings who have long since abandoned their human forms in favor of a more twisted, monstrous existence. Those who have entered the grove and survived speak of a heavy, oppressive atmosphere, of an overwhelming presence that fills the air like a dark cloud, suffocating all who dare to approach. But these are not the only rites that still haunt the forest. There are whispers of a hidden temple buried deep within the forest's heart, where the most ancient rituals were once performed. This temple, built long before the first stone buildings of civilization were erected, was said to be dedicated to the worship of forgotten gods. Gods whose names have long since been erased from history. But the temple was a place of great power, where blood was spilt in the name of the gods, and where the souls of those sacrificed were forever bound to the earth. The temple itself is said to be hidden, buried beneath layers of centuries-old foliage, but some claim to have found its ruins, picking through the remains of stone walls and cracked statues where the echoes of ancient chants still echo in the air. The forest holds a deep, unspoken power. A power that has endured through the ages, woven into the land itself. The rituals, the sacrifices, the prayers, and the pleas of the long dead, all are still a part of the forest's essence. It is a place where time seems to slow, where the ancient rites of the past echo through the trees, waiting for someone to listen, waiting for someone to once again call upon the forces that have slept for centuries. But those who dare disturb the silence may find that the power of Białowieża is not something that can be controlled. It is a force that demands respect, a force that will not hesitate to reclaim what was once taken from it. In the heart of Białowieża forest, amidst its labyrinthine paths and towering trees, there are clearings, vast open spaces where the trees seem to stand back, almost as if unwilling to intrude upon the haunting stillness that envelops these sacred places. These clearings are unlike any others in the forest. Their air is thick with a palpable sense of sorrow, a heavy, oppressive feeling that clings to the skin, making the simplest breath feel as though it is drawn through a veil of forgotten memories. It is in these clearings that the spirits of Białowieża are said to wander, trapped between the worlds of the living and the dead, forever drawn to the places where they once lost their lives. These haunted clearings are places where the past never truly fades, and the spirits of the lost wander, aimlessly seeking something they can never find. The clearings are often empty, silent, save for the wind that whispers through the trees. But the moment the sun dips below the horizon, a strange and unsettling energy fills the air. It is said that in these moments, the spirits of those who perished within the forest, whether from old age, accidents, or darker forces, make their presence known. Some appear as fleeting shadows, caught in the corner of one's vision, others as ghostly figures that drift between the trees, their faces obscured by an eternal fog. These spirits are not bound to any one place. They move freely through the forest, drawn to these clearings where they are able to momentarily escape the confines of the forest's dense, suffocating darkness. Yet despite their fleeting freedom, they are never truly at rest, their souls forever tethered to the land. Many who have ventured into these clearings describe a strange sense of unease, as if something is just beyond their reach, watching them from the shadows. Some speak of hearing faint footsteps, the sound of someone or something moving through the underbrush, but when they turn to look, no one is there. Others have claimed to hear whispers in the wind, soft voices that seem to speak in an ancient language, words that cannot be understood but are felt deeply, as though they are speaking directly to the heart. The whispers grow louder in the clearings, becoming more urgent, more insistent. But no matter how hard one listens, They can never make out the words. It is as if the spirits are trying to communicate, to reveal the secrets of their eternal torment, but their voices remain forever lost to time. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of these clearings is the feeling of being followed, an overwhelming sense that someone, something, is never far behind. Those who wander too close to the center of the clearing report an overwhelming sense of suffocation, as if the air itself is growing thick with the weight of unseen eyes. It is as if the very ground beneath your feet is alive, shifting, pulling you deeper into the forest, where the spirits of the lost will claim you, just as they have claimed so many before. The feeling is so strong that it often causes people to turn and flee, but when they do, the presence is still there, lingering just out of sight, trailing them through the trees, following them as they retreat from the clearing. It is as if the spirits are not content to be left behind, forever chasing those who dare to enter their domain. But perhaps the most terrifying encounters occur when night has fully fallen and the forest is enveloped in darkness. In these moments, the clearings take on an entirely different atmosphere, one of deep and terrible silence. It is said that the spirits are most active under the cover of night, when the forest is at its darkest. It is during these hours that the spectral figures are most likely to appear. Drifting through the clearing, their forms barely visible in the moonlight, their movements slow and deliberate, as if they are searching for something or someone. The air grows colder in these moments, and the very earth seems to tremble beneath your feet, as if the spirits are awakening, stirring in their eternal slumber. There are stories of people who have ventured into the clearings at night, only to find themselves caught in an unexplainable freeze, unable to move, their bodies paralyzed with fear as the spirits of the forest surround them, their hollow eyes staring into their very souls. Some say that the spirits in the clearings are not merely lost wanderers, but guardians, protectors of the forest who keep watch over the land, ensuring that no one disturbs its ancient peace. These spirits, it is said, were once the warriors and protectors of the forest, men and women who lived centuries ago, bound to the land through their sacrifice and loyalty. Now their souls are bound to the forest's heart, eternally keeping watch over its sacred grounds, forever vigilant against intruders. The clearings, they say, are the places where the warriors of the past gather to commune with the spirits of the forest, their ethereal forms taking shape under the pale moonlight, their eyes never leaving the edges of the clearing. The haunted clearings of Białowieża are places where time and space seem to blur, where the veil between the living and the dead is so thin that the spirits of the forest can cross over at will. They are places of danger and mystery, where those who are brave or foolish enough to enter may find themselves lost in more ways than one. The spirits who wander these clearings are not content to be forgotten. They are bound to the land, and they will not rest until their stories are heard. The haunted clearings are their domain, and those who trespass may never return, their souls becoming just another part of the endless wandering that echoes through the ancient trees. Białowieża Forest, a place untouched by time, is a living relic of a forgotten past. Here, the ancient trees stand as silent sentinels, watching over a land that refuses to move forward. The forest is caught in a perpetual cycle, a place where time itself seems to stop, holding everything within its grasp. It is as though the forest is trapped in an endless moment, unable to move forward, and those who enter its shadowed depths are drawn into this same twisted existence, their lives forever bound to the forest's timeless grip. The curse of Białowieża is not one of mere misfortune, it is a curse of stasis, a force that halts everything within its borders, trapping the forest and its inhabitants in a world where the future is nothing more than a distant dream, fading with every passing day. There are those who claim that the curse of Białowieża was not always present, that the forest was once a place of life, thriving with energy and growth. It is said that long ago the land was blessed by ancient gods, and the forest flourished under their watchful eyes. But this peace would not last. Over time, the people who lived in the area began to take more than they needed, cutting down the trees and disturbing the balance of nature. The gods, angered by the destruction, decided to punish the land. They cast a powerful curse upon the forest, a curse that would halt time itself and trap the forest in a state of eternal stasis. From that moment onward, the forest would be untouched by the changing seasons, its trees never growing older, its creatures never evolving. Time would no longer flow freely within the forest's boundaries. The effects of this curse are subtle, yet undeniable. To the outside world, the forest may seem as though it has simply endured the passage of centuries, a place that has remained largely unchanged. But those who venture deep into its heart can feel the unnatural stillness that permeates the air. The trees, though ancient and towering, seem frozen in place, their leaves never changing, their roots never spreading. Even the creatures that dwell in the forest are not subject to the same cycles of life and death as those beyond its borders. The animals of Białowieża are said to live forever, their lives stretching on in a never-ending loop, repeating the same motions day after day, trapped in an eternal cycle that they cannot escape. Even the sun seems to rise and set with an unnatural regularity, casting the same light over the forest, day after day, without ever altering its course. But it is not only the creatures of the forest that are trapped in time, it is the very land itself. Those who have ventured into the heart of Białowieża often speak of feeling disoriented, as if they are walking in a place that exists outside of the normal flow of time. The minutes stretch into hours, and the hours seem to slip away without notice, until the very concept of time becomes meaningless. Some travelers have claimed that they lost track of days while wandering the forest, their minds unable to grasp the passage of time in a place where it seems to hold no sway. Others have reported strange visions, glimpses of the past appearing before their eyes, as though the forest is not merely a place in the present, but a mirror to long-forgotten moments. The curse of Białowieża is not one that can be easily escaped. Once you step into the forest's depths, it is said that the forest takes hold of you, drawing you deeper into its timeless grip. Those who wander too far into its heart may find themselves unable to return, their sense of direction warped by the forest's twisted sense of time. There are stories of people who entered the forest with the intention of exploring its mysteries, only to disappear without a trace, as though the forest itself had swallowed them whole. These lost souls are said to become part of the forest's eternal cycle, wandering its depths forever, trapped in time, never able to leave. Even those who manage to find their way out of the forest are not immune to its curse. Some claim that after leaving Białowieża, they were haunted by strange dreams, visions of the forest that seemed to stretch out before them, beckoning them back. Others have reported that they felt a sense of timelessness follow them, a feeling that they were no longer a part of the world outside the forest, as if their lives had been frozen in time. The curse of Białowieża does not release its hold so easily. Once it touches you, it lingers, following you like a shadow until you too are caught in the web of its eternal stillness. There are also whispers of a deeper, more insidious aspect of the curse. An ancient presence that resides at the heart of the forest, a force that predates even the gods who once watched over the land. This presence is said to be the true source of the curse, a being of pure, unyielding power that holds the forest in its grip. Some believe that this presence is a spirit, a being that is neither alive nor dead, but a force of nature that exists outside of time itself. It is said that this being can manipulate time within the forest, stretching it, warping it, until nothing makes sense. Those who have encountered it speak of a feeling of pure dread, of being watched by something that exists beyond the laws of nature, a force that cannot be understood, but can only be feared. Białowieża Forest stands as a monument to the passage of time, or rather, the absence of it. Its trees, its creatures, and its very soil are trapped in an endless cycle, caught in a web that cannot be undone. The curse that binds the forest is not one of death or destruction, but of stasis, a curse that holds the land in a suspended state, forever frozen in the moment it was cast. Those who venture into its depths may find themselves drawn into this cursed existence, caught in a place where time no longer holds sway, and where the past, present, and future blur into one eternal, unyielding moment.